Chapter 4. Cooperation. Remember what we said at the end of Chapter 3? Surely nothing can possibly go wrong. And yet there is still some way to go. Your new flagellum allowed you to dance away from your home on the submerged volcano and search in new places for food. Life at that time was a huge variety of creatures, but they were lying around on the rocks where they were created, or floating through the water wherever the ocean dragged them. You and your family danced all around them with your brand new flagellum engines, ducking away from this and hunting down that. That engine gave you a phenomenal, almost magical advantage over the others. You needed that advantage. If you didn't beat your neighbours in the race to food, you would starve and die, and then you wouldn't make babies. That would be the end of your story. You were only interested in your own success, utterly selfish, so selfish that if possible you would not just beat all the others around you, but eat them too. Life was cruel. It was the survival of the fittest. That flagellum was going to be your passport to paradise. But life was about to take another giant leap forward. One morning you were dancing up through the ocean, up to the surface to find something to eat for breakfast. Suddenly, a shadowy form started to move between you and the light. You tried to swim around the shadow, but wherever you went you found this thing in the way. It stretched in all directions. You couldn't swim under it. You couldn't swim over it. You certainly could not swim through it. It was a solid sheet of cells, side by side, floating together as one, and it was blocking you from breakfast. What was it? Or rather, what were they? If they could have spoken, they would have sounded like this, speaking as one, of course. We are cells, just like you, and just like you we used to suck up random chemicals, fiddle about with them, then squeeze out the ones we didn't want. One day we discovered that we were squeezing out sticky slime. At first we thought it was a disaster because we kept on sticking together. But then we discovered the good side. If we stick together, we protect each other from enemy cells. We all look for food together, so if one of us finds it, we all get fed. And as you see, we can stop you from getting to the food, so we reach it first. You thought, I can't let them stop me. How do you get about? How do you move? We drift with the ocean current like all the others. Sooner or later, cells like you bump into us and, oh, that's another good thing, they stick. Then we eat them. Why not swim a little closer and we'll show you. You, spinning around in tight circles. Do you see this neat flagellum? It's very useful. Do you want it? What can it do? You thought, if I can't beat them, then maybe I can join them. I'll show you. And you zoomed up to one edge of the sheet, rammed into it, and stuck there just as they said you would. As you churned up the water with your flagellum like a propeller, the sheet started to move slowly upwards towards the light. Interesting. Okay, we won't eat you. You might be useful. Stick around. So you joined the sheet. You shared your DNA with theirs, and they began to grow flagella like you. Now they could swim wherever they wanted, and you became sticky and slimy like them and got a portion of the food they caught. Later on, you all looped up and became a tube. With flagella on the inside, you and your new friends were now a much better food digester. The flagella worked together to waft food along the tube where it was dissolved and digested. Some of your cousins were happy like this and became sponges. Your family, though, made another change. You turned half inside out and half outside in, with flagella now on both the inside and the outside. The flagella on the inside concentrated on eating breakfast, while those on the outside moved you through the water to find lunch. You had discovered that being cooperative is better than being selfish. Working together beats working alone. But if you work together, everyone in that team has to give up some freedoms. Your flagellum had to move to the same beat as all those others around you. The direction of travel was decided by everyone, not just you. But never mind, if you all worked well together, you all found the food, and that was the most important thing. And so began a new era, multi-celled life. All around you, cells started to join up and cooperate with each other. We call them zooids. and they change through time, like that clever flagellum of yours, which evolved into two kinds of tool, the first swimming on the outside, the second wafting food on the inside. You were no longer the solitary flagellate. That time was over. Now, working with a team of other cells, you had become a particular kind of zooid, to be precise, a worm. Are you nearly here yet? So, worm, you may be an ugly, awkward, wiggly, gawky smidge of a microgut, but you have so many possibilities. You are made of so many cells with so many special skills. From now on, anything is possible. Before we see what happened to your wormy self, we can learn from the story of another bunch of simple animals which ganged up together to make one of the most fearsome creatures of the ocean, the Portuguese man-o'-war.